So this weekend we have our very own UK and Ireland superstar and ARMGODS Commonwealth champion, James the Brick Wall, as he heads out to the Knuckles Up event in New Jersey, USA, taking on the Fury, Craig Tullier. Now we've seen Craig Tullier decimate the Americas in the 90 kilo and the 100 kilo round robins. He's purely set at number one in the US of A, anywhere from 198 to 220 pounds. So in our terms, 90 kilo, 200 kilos. He's beaten Tom Holland handily at East versus West. And now it's time. It's the Brick Wall's time. I know from speaking to James from almost on a daily basis now for months on end about how he's been preparing for this match. The eating, the training, everything has been perfect. Every time you call the guy, he's getting ready to go to the gym. He's meditating, he's going to sleep. He's boiling chicken bones, he's boiling marrowfat bones. You name it, the guy has lived the life for 12 weeks and he's ready to shock the world. In March, we saw him take on VJ, who's been on a rampage of his own. James Wall pushed him to the limits, picking up a medial injury in his elbow. He's over that now. He's 97 kilo with an 8-pack. He's ripped to the bone and ready to go. But that doesn't mean that he's going to win easily. So we're going to pick, the pros and the cons, what he's got to compete with, how he might possibly win and how he could possibly lose. So let's have your thoughts in the comments and, I'll do my best to move on and do it in one take. So, Craig Tullier, formerly like a 60 kilo puller. This guy has moved up through the weights, become champion and beaten champion. And we've seen him as far as beating Todd Hutchins in certain rounds in WAL. The guy is a mammoth machine. Super fast, powerful, mean. He's called the Fury for a reason. And he's got one of the most wicked side hook hits, out there on the market. But for the majority of pullers, I do believe that's a nightmare. For someone like me, for some conventional arm wrestler coming back, it's a nightmare as he's taking your rotation, he's taking your hand outside your shoulder, he's getting rid of the tendons, ligaments and bones and just putting you basically on your muscles. We've seen him do this to all these big hunky men. Fortunately, James Wall's not one of those. He's a big hunky man, but he's not one of those guys that's going to come back. He's going to come at you, and not in necessarily a traditional way. If you come at Craig Tullier in a traditional way, it's all going to be about the chest and the shoulder and who can keep that centre. And to be fair, Americans are one of the very few people who've been able to keep the centre with Russians and people like that throughout the years. Same with the Canadians, really. They're very, very good, strong side pressure people. But for James Wall, I think the key is that he's got that cutting, laser-eyed 11 p.m. hit, and he doesn't come forward and up like most people as they come. He's not going to get pulled up this way. He comes down, he chops down. He's not a conventional hook puller using his wrist strength to try and take you off your rotation. He literally attacks you there and crushes you, almost collapses you like this, like a deck of cards. And when someone's coming through you at such severe speed, as James Wall would be, then that is going to be mega dangerous. So as Craig Tullier comes across and James Wall's coming through, if it gets stopped anywhere around here, Craig Tullier's arm's going to stay there, the body's going to go that way, and he's actually going to isolate Craig Tullier's arm. Now, we all know when Craig Tullier gets stopped, he commits quite a few elbow fouls. He generally pulls off the back. Now, the guy's got a wicked top roll. He's got other tricks in his toolbox. But I think it's got to be Route 101 for Craig Tullier. And if he doesn't get that, he's absolutely doomed. It's all about who can get that fine pinhead position. And that's what we're looking at here, guys. It's literally a couple of inch movement who decides who wins this match. Craig Tullier, super quick. We know how fast Tom Holland is, and we've seen how quick he was against Tom. But when we speak in blistering speed, we're talking James Wall, and this could be the difference. This could be the one. Just the fact that he can engage his muscles within a millisecond and get to that one spot quicker. Now, yes, if you're a bookie, you're going to be going out there, you're going to be throwing big money on Craig Tullier. You're going to be saying, yeah, Craig Tullier's done this, that and the other. And rightly so, Craig Tullier should be an odds-on favourite. But the people who make the money are not necessarily the guys who follow the herd. And as we saw in the poll last night on Aussie Armwrestlers chat, it was 85% to Craig Tullier. 15% what I believe are going to be the guys who are going to win the money, who are going to get the win with James Wall on this one. I just feel the cards have fallen in his favour. Also with the match with Tom Tullier, he had to pick up and then he tapered down. Because he took Tom Holland very seriously. You can't take Tom Holland not seriously. I mean, we saw what he did with Mindaugas Dulskas at the weekend. Incredible, absolutely incredible. So we know how strong Tom is. And if I know Tom, he'll be frustrated that he couldn't get that power on Tullier. But that's another story. So moving on, with this, Tullier's picked up and he's tapered off. And then there's only been a couple of weeks where he might have got his training going again, and now he has to bring his training back down again. So in theory, he's a bit like a stock market. He's gone up, he's took his big leg up, he's then got a higher low, and he's probably sitting maybe of 85% of where he was, 90% of where he was against Tom Holland. And we all know that Tom got that little stop on Tullier, and it was just milliseconds from possibly turning into a screamer. James Wall, for me, is the number one guy under 100 kilos at the moment by a country mile. And he is going to take some stopping. He's not Tom Holland, he's not Lee Webber, he's not David Bradford at this moment in time. I think he's a clear leader, and I think we're going to see that this weekend. And I think it's going to be by a screamer. And it's all about because he can get to that position quicker. Now, he could get robbed off the referees. We all know them Yankee referees were a little bit suspect. I mean, I've been stung with them myself, Greg Sanders, and multiple others. Most biased people in the world. Sorry, Yanks, who I was watching. But James Wall, primed, ready, and he's going to bring it back for the UK and Ireland. Oh.